Hi there. Thank you for joining me today. I am Skills from skillsondemand.online. In this tutorial, I'll be taking you through how to build a dynamic and interactive Excel dashboard that you're seeing now. In this example, we will learn how to create a sales dashboard using the details of two electronic brands. We will be analyzing details such as sales by location, sales by brand, sales by products, sales by gender, yearly sales variation, fast and slow selling products, etc. All data connected with each other to give us an impressive and dynamic Excel dashboard in few simple steps. Before we start, let's download the workbook file attached under this section. This is the data we will be using for this dashboard. There are over 30,000 rows of sales data of two electronic brands called Brand A and Brand B. Our data is in tabular format with a date range from December 2017 to January 2016. The data is classified by date, brand name, location name, country, salesperson, product name, buyer name, gender, quantity, price and sales value. All data is formatted in an Excel table. A structured data is the first step in building a dashboard. To build an efficient and dynamic dashboard, we will use Excel pivot tables, formulas and functions, slicers and sparklines, and finally, pivot charts such as area, bar, pie, line, and map. We have created this course using Excel 2016. However, you can use any Excel version such as Excel 2010, 2013, or 2016. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Hi, welcome back. I believe you have the example workbook open and ready. Our workbook has sheets such as Read Me, Data, Pivot and Charts, and Dashboard. Let's format the data to an Excel table. Use the keyboard shortcut key Ctrl+A. This will select all the data. To create a table, use the keyboard shortcut key Ctrl+T. Now, Excel will give you a prompt with details of the data range. If your data has header, click on My Table as Header and press OK. Now, the table is ready. Let's give our table a name as Data. Now, let's create our first pivot table that shows sales by location. Select the data. Click on Insert tab. Click on Pivot Table. Next, select the range where you want your pivot table to appear. Press OK. Our pivot table field list is activated. Drag and drop brand name to filter field, years to filter field, date to column field, location name to row field, and sales value to value field. Let's change the report layout to outline form. Let's copy paste the pivot table two more times. For the second pivot table, under filter, select brand name as Brand A. For the third pivot table, under filter, select brand name as Brand B. Let's remove subtotals and grand totals. We will use these three pivot tables to create Sparklines that shows state-wise sales trend. In the dashboard sheet, let's add the header as Total Sales and Sales by Location. Change the background color to green, font color to white, and make the text as bold. Below that, let's add the header as location name, total sales, total sales trend, brand A and brand B. Change the background color to black, font color to white, and make the text as bold. Let's copy paste the location name from our pivot table. Next, to get the total sales value, let's do a VLOOKUP. Click on the cell. Insert the formula as equal to VLOOKUP. Open bracket, criteria cell, comma, select the data range from the pivot table. Insert constant using shortcut key Fn plus F4 if you're using a laptop and F4 if you're using a desktop. Comma, since total sales value is in the 14th column, insert 14, comma, 0 for exact match and close the bracket. Since the value we are looking at is at the 14th column, I have used 14 here. Now, drag and drop the formula to other rows. Next, let's convert the value as currency US dollars. So right click, format cell, currency, select USD. Keep the decimal place as 0 and press OK. Now, let's add a data bar from conditional formatting to highlight the values. Data bar helps us distinguish between highest and lowest value. Select the range. Click on conditional formatting. Click on data bar. Click on solid fill. Let's select green color. Now, change the background color and adjust the column width. Let's add a sparkline. Sparklines are mini charts placed in single cells, each representing a row of data in your selection. Excel 2016 allows 3 types of sparklines such as line, column, and win and loss. We will be creating 3 sparklines, one for total sales trend and other 2 are for sales trend for brand A and brand B. Select the dashboard sheet. First step is to select the location where you want your sparkline to appear. Click on Insert tab. Let's select sparkline type column. Select the data range from month January to December from the pivot table 1 and press OK. Now our first sparkline is ready. Let's create 2 more. This time, let's choose sparkline type line for both brand A and brand B. Select the location where you want your sparkline to appear. Click on Insert tab. Let's select sparkline type as line. Select the data range from month January to December from pivot table and press OK. Change the background color and adjust the column width. Now, let's add design and style elements. Select the style, color, weightage you prefer. Let's add a marker and select color to highlight the same. You can use a marker to highlight points such as high, low, negative, first and last. You can select different colors for each highlights. Now, our sparkline using the first pivot table is ready. Simple, isn't it? Before we create our second pivot table, you should always remember one thing. As data changes and pivot table gets updated, it might start overlapping with each other, which will affect the way the dashboard is supposed to perform. Hence, sufficient space should be left between two pivot tables, or each pivot table should be created in a different sheet. Now, let's create our second pivot table that shows sales by brand. Select the data. Click on Insert tab. Click on Pivot Table. Select the location where you want your pivot table to appear. Press OK. Our pivot field list is activated. Let's drag and drop Date to Row field. In Excel 2016, dates are automatically grouped. Next, in the field list, drag and drop brand name to column field, sales value to value field. In the pivot table, let's convert the values to currencies. Select the data. Right-click, Format Cells. Select Currencies. Select USD. Change the decimal place to 0 and press OK. Now, click on Design tab. Let's change the layout style to Outline. Now, our pivot table is ready. Let's create our pivot chart. Click on the pivot table. Click on Insert tab. Click on Pivot Chart. From All Chart, select Line Chart. Let's remove the Field button. So click on Analyze tab. Click on Field button. Now, to add a title, click on Design tab. Click on Chart Element. Click on Add Chart Title. Select the position as Above Chart and add a title as Sales by Brand. Change the font color to black. Next, to relocate the legend to the top, click on the legend. Right-click, Format Legend. Select legend position as top. Let's delete the plot area. Now our first pivot chart is ready. Let's add design and style elements. Let's change the line color to green and blue. Next, let's add shapes to the markers. From the shapes, select a circle. Resize and make a copy of it. Change the color to match the chart lines. Add effects. Next, let's cut paste the shapes to the markers. Now, let's make the chart background as no fill. Impressive, isn't it? Now, let's move and resize this chart to the dashboard sheet. Now, let's create our third pivot table that shows product sales. Let's copy paste the same previous pivot table. Our pivot field list is activated. Clear the existing selection. Next, drag and drop brand name to column field, product name to row field, sales value to value field. Now, click on Design tab. Let's change the layout style to outline. Let's add one more column to replicate the grand total. We will use this later in the dashboard. Let's add the formula as equal to grand total value. Now our pivot table is ready. Let's create our pivot chart. Click on the pivot table. Click on Insert tab. Click on Pivot Chart. From the bar chart, select Clustered Bar Chart. To add a title, click on Design tab. Add chart element, add chart title. Select position as Above Chart. Add a title as Product Sales. Change the font color to black. Next, let's relocate the legend to the top. So click on the legend, right click, click on Format Legend. Select legend position as top. Let's delete the plot area. Next, let's rearrange the chart bar from value large to value small. Click on any value under Grand Total header. Click on Home tab. Click on Sort and Filter option. Click on Sort Smallest to Largest. Now, our chart is rearranged as per products with higher sales to products with lower sales. Remove the field buttons. Let's add color to our chart. Let's select green for brand A and blue for brand B. When you add the colors, ensure that it's similar to other charts. Now our pivot chart is ready. Let's remove the chart background color to no fill. Let's move and resize this chart to the dashboard sheet. Let's create our fourth pivot table that shows product sales by gender. Let's copy paste the same previous pivot table. Our pivot field list is activated. Clear the existing selection. Drag and drop gender and product name to row field. Sales value to value field. Let's change the report layout to outline form. Our pivot table is ready. Let's create our pivot chart. Click on Pivot Table. Click on Insert tab. Click on Pivot Chart. Under All Chart, select Clustered Column Chart. Let's add a title as Product Sales by Gender. Change the font color to black. Next, let's rearrange the chart bar from value large to small like earlier. So click on any value under Grand Total header. Click on Home tab. Click on Sort and Filter option. Click on Sort Smallest to Largest. Now our chart is rearranged as per products with higher sales to products with lower sales. Remove the field buttons. Let's add colors to our chart. Let's select green for male and blue for female. Let's select chart background color as no fill. Now, our pivot chart is ready. Let's move and resize this chart to the dashboard sheet. Let's create our fifth pivot table that shows product sales by gender as a whole. Let's copy paste the same previous pivot table. Our pivot field list is activated. Clear the existing selection. Next, drag and drop gender to row field, sales value to value field. Our pivot table is ready. Let's create our pivot chart. Click on the pivot table. Click on Insert tab. Click on Pivot Chart. Select Pie Chart. Let's add a title as Sales by Gender. Right-click, Add Data Labels, and add shapes to the data labels. Change the font to bold. Change the legend position to top. Let's format the data labels to percentage. So right-click, Format Data Labels. Click on percentage. Unclick Values. Now, let's select the label position as Sender. Remove the field buttons. Let's add colors to our chart. Let's select green for male and blue for female. Let's select the chart background color as no fill. Our pivot chart is ready. Let's move and resize this chart to dashboard sheet. Let's create our sixth pivot table that shows sales by brand. Let's copy paste the same previous pivot table. Our pivot field list is activated. Clear the existing selection. Next, drag and drop brand name to row field, sales value to value field. Now our pivot table is ready. Let's create our pivot chart. Click on Pivot Table. Click on Insert tab. Click on Pivot Chart. Under All Chart, select Pie Chart. Let's add a title as Sales by Brand. Right-click and add data labels. Format data labels and add shapes to the data labels. Change the font to bold and font color to black. Next, change the legend position to top. Let's format the data labels to percentage. So right-click, Format Data Labels. Click on percentage. Unclick Values. Now, let's select the label position as Sender. Remove the field buttons. Let's add colors to our chart. Let's select green for brand A and blue for brand B. Let's select the chart background color as no fill. Our pivot chart is ready. Let's move and resize this chart to the dashboard sheet. Now, let's create our 7th pivot table that shows sales by geography using a map chart. Map charts are regular charts and do not have a pivot table equivalent. Let's copy paste the same previous pivot table. Clear the existing selection. Next, drag and drop country and location name to row field. Sales value to value field. Remove grand totals and subtotals from the pivot table. Next, for a map chart, the data should be formatted in a tabular format. Click on the country. Right-click. Select Field Settings. Click on Layout and Print. Click on option Show Item Labels in tabular form. Click on Repeat Item Labels. Press OK. Let's change the report layout to outline form. Next, copy-paste the pivot table as values. Let's use this data to create our map chart. Select the value. Click on Insert tab. Select Map Chart. Now, let's realign the map chart with the pivot table to make it more dynamic. Right-click. Select Data. Let's change the data range based on our pivot table and press OK. Let's delete the old data. Our map chart shows the total values in different regions differentiated by color. Let's change the color of the map using the Design tab, Chart Styles. Let's add a title as Sales by Location. Our map chart is ready. Let's move and resize this chart to the dashboard sheet. Simple, isn't it? Now, let's add a header to our dashboard using Shapes and Dynamic Titles. Click on Insert tab. Click on Shapes. Select a rectangle. Resize and position it in our dashboard. Let's add a text box. Insert the header as Sales Dashboard. Let's add one more shape. Insert the header as Yearly Data Analysis. Let's add one more shape. Insert the text as Total Revenue. Insert a text box. Click on Pivots and Chart Sheet. Earlier, we had added one extra row to reflect the grand total under Pivot Table Product Sales. We will use this value. Click on the shape. Click on Formula Bar. Insert formula as equal to this value. Now, total revenue generated from Brand A and Brand B is reflecting here. For the newly added shape, let's add design and style elements like color, effects and size, etc. Let's add 4 icons. Let's resize it and place it over the shape. This represents 4 events. First icon means viewers came with no idea about the current facts and figures. Second icon means they were given facts and figures about the current status. Third icon means they validated each facts and figures. Fourth icon means they mutually understood, made suggestions for improvements, and agreed on the facts and figures presented to them. Simple, isn't it? Now our header is ready. Let's learn about slicers. Slicers are used to filter data visually and can be used with tables, pivot charts, and cube functions. Slicers provide buttons that you can click to filter table or pivot table data and make the current filtering state with exact details simple to understand. When you select an item, the item is included in the filter, and the data for that item will be displayed in the report. So let's do it. Click on any pivot chart. Click on Insert tab. Click on Slicers. We can see all the headers of our data here. Let's select 4 years, products, gender, brand name, and press OK. Now we have 4 slicers ready based on our selection. Let's resize and position our slicers. Let's make a 2-column slicer. So under Option, select the column as 2. Let's connect all the slices to our data to make our dashboard dynamic. Click on each individual slices. Click on Option. Click on Report Connections. We can see all our pivot table here. Let's select all and press OK. Let's do this step for all our slices. Now, based on our selection, in each slicer, all the data in the dashboard will get updated automatically. Now, let's see how a dashboard gets updated when a new data is added. Click on Data Sheet. This is my data table with over 30,000 rows of data, and all my pivot tables are linked to this. Let's copy some data from this. Click on a new sheet. Paste the data over there. Now, use shortcut key Ctrl+F. Click on Replace. In Find What, insert the value as 2016 and in Replace With, insert the value as 2018. Now, when I paste the data over here, the table formatting has expanded and the icon has shifted from there to here. Now our dashboard will include the data that is added now. Now, all we have to do is click on Refresh All option under Data tab. Now our new data is reflecting automatically in our dashboard. To add more space to our dashboard, let's get rid of the scroll bars. Click on the File tab. Click on Option. Next, in Advanced option, scroll down to Display. Here unclick on Horizontal Scroll Bar, Vertical Scroll Bar and Sheet tabs. Next, press OK. Now our dashboard looks more clean and less distractive. You can zoom in and zoom out of your dashboard using the zoom option. It's better we stick to the 100%. Our dashboard is complete. When you click on Slicer button, data will update based on the filter selected. To unfilter the selection, click on Clear Filter option on the slicer. Next, let's learn about Move and Resize option. While using the dashboard, there are chances that the position of the slicer might move and resize here and there like this. To prevent this, we need to disable the Move and Resize option. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. Right-click on the slicer. Click on Size and Properties. Click on Position and Layout and click on Disable resizing and moving. Let's do this for all 4 slicers. Once this is done, the slicer will not move or resize and will retain its same position. Simple, isn't it? Now, let's learn how do we protect the worksheet and prevent unnecessary edits by the user. Well, it's simple. Click on Review tab. Click on Protect Sheet option. Under this, we have multiple options. When you select an option, you prevent users from accidental edits on your workbook without altering its function. Simple as that. Hey, congrats! You have mastered a new skill today. I believe I was able to help you learn an essential skill in a simple way. Now, you need to think how you can utilize what you have learned and apply the idea in your workplace. Any doubts, any queries, feel free to ask us. We are here to help you. Hope you enjoyed this class. See you again in the next tutorial. Till then, you take care.